What's up guys, my name is Lawcake and I'm here today with the zombie deck profile. I really like this deck and it's done really well in testing so far and I think it's highly underrated. I saw the deck that topped YCS Anaheim and it was a mill variant with Rykos and I didn't like it. So I'm here with my own build today. So I'm going to show you guys the Synchro engine first. It's Plague Spreader, let's put it right there, Mizuki, 2 Zombie Masters, a Glow Up Bulb, 3 Goblin Zombie, and 2 Pyramid Turtles. Now I call this the Synchro engine because it is made for synchroing. So Plague Spreader is the main tuner, he's level 2 and he's obviously Plague Spreader. And then we've got Mizuki over here, he revives any zombie from the grave, so he's a free +1. Zombie Masters, you get to discard a monster to revive a zombie from a grave, so he's amazing with Glow Up Bulb, which you all know that is. 3 Goblin Zombie because they're amazing, they are what make the deck good. They're a free searcher, they can add a zombie to your hand, so it's like Dark Soul or Sangan. And Pyramid Turtle is like Mystic Tomato, it adds any zombie to the field. So when they attack it, I get to special summon a zombie to the field. So this deck is very synchro based and it's very fast and focuses on swarming. Zombie Master combined with Glow Up Bulb and Goblin Zombie is an easy Trishula. And that's a very, very good play because Trishula is very good, as we all know. And yeah. And then the last 2 zombies are 2 Spirit Reaper. They're not part of the Synchro engine because I use them more as a control element. So they stall or I poke at their hand to discard a card from their hand. And you really only need to run 1 because it's really easy to get to with Pyramid Turtle and Goblin Zombie. And you can revive it easily with Zombie Master Mizuki or Book of Life, but I run 2 just to troll. 2 Caius, it's really easy to have a monster to tribute, so 2 Caius is really easy to pull off. I can summon it easily because I've got Pyramid Turtles to act as floaters, Spirit Reapers to act as floaters, Book of Life, Mizuki to revive monsters to the field so I can tribute them. So Caius is really, really good. Dark Arm Dragon because I run a lot of monsters, dark monsters, Gores, and Effect Veiler. So that was 17 monsters, and onto the spells. I've got 2 Pot of Duality because it adds consistency and lets me get to my key cards faster, and the key cards would be Goblin Zombie and Pyramid Turtle and such to get my setups. 1 Foolish Burial helps with setting up yet again. It's amazing, you have to run it. I wasn't running it at first, but you really need to. It speeds the deck up a lot, because you can dump Mizuki or Glow Up Bulb or Plague Spreader. Next, 2 Book of Lives. This card is really good. It's pretty much a Monster Reborn and a DD Crow combined, because you get to revive a zombie from your graveyard and remove a monster from their graveyard. So it's very good for recycling Reaper, or letting you synchro with Plague Spreader or Goblin Zombie, or sack for Caius. So this card is amazing. Burial, yet again, another fantastic card. This card can return up to 3 removed from play monsters to the grave, so pretty much I get to reuse Mizuki and Plague Spreader. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, Book of Moon, Trunade, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hole. So that was 12 spells, and for the traps we've got 2 Bottomless first. I don't really like this card, or I didn't like it because it's not good against Samurai and a lot of other decks, but this deck doesn't have a lot of high attack monsters and it suffers against Gravekeepers and Glider Beasts and Heroes because they can just beat me down, so Bottomless helps with that. Same with D-Prison, they help stall or keep at bay those beater decks until I can set up. Call the Haunted, more reviving. Really, really good. It's like a second Monster Reborn. Mirror Force and Torrential, Mass Destruction. Solemn Warnings, Solemn Judgment, and 2 7 Tools. I like 2 7 Tools because they let me do my plays without having to be afraid of my opponent's back row, so I can easily negate their traps with this, and it only costs 1,000 life points. So that was 12 spells, a 41 card deck. Onto the extra deck, I'll go through that real quickly. We've got Trishula, This card is an essential part of the extra deck and made it a lot better once I got one of these. It's really easy to go into because all you need is 2 level 4s and the glow up bulb. So for example, you can summon Zombie Master, discard glow up bulb, revive Goblin Zombie from the grave, mill a card from the top of your deck for glow up bulb to revive it, and then go Trishula. So not only do you remove 3 of their cards, 1 from hand, field, and grave, but you also get to grab a monster from your deck. So it's an amazing play. Let's keep it there. Inferni Doom Dragon, Colossal, Scrap Dragon, Dark End Dragon, Stardust Dragon, Black Rose Dragon, Gaia Knight for running over Monarchs of Stardust, Bryanek, another essential part of the Synchro deck, because what I do is I go Goblin Zombie and Plague Spreader into him. I search out with Goblin Zombie a Mizuki, and then I discard Mizuki with Bryanek, and then I can revive a zombie with Mizuki that's now in the grave. Doom Kaiser Dragon, if they have a Plague Spreader, I can revive it with this guy and go a level 8. Revived King, when I run over one of your monsters, it loses its effect for pretty much the whole duel. So if I run over their Dandelion and they revive it with Debris Dragon and they use their Synchro for Black Rose or something, they don't get their tokens because I negated its effect when I ran over it. And I think the only way they can bring back the monster's effect is if they return it to their hand. So they'd have to like compulsory their own Dandelion and then set it again or something like that. Naturia Beast, I can go this guy with Glow Up Bulb and Pyramid Turtle Mizuki, Alive Justice Catastor, Magical Android, and Chimera Tech because I side Cyber Dragons. And speaking of side to Cyber Dragons, onto the side deck I've got 2 Cyber Dragons to help with those high beat decks and also to fuse for Chimera Tech against machine decks. 2 Thunder King, this card is amazing right now because not only does it negate synchros, but it also stops searching from the deck, so it stops all those decks that search with terraforming like Dragoonides or Gravekeepers that search out Necro Valley with Recruiters, and Gravekeepers is a hard matchup, so this helps a lot. It also stops X-Saber's Dark Soul and Smoke Signal for Samurai, so yeah, it's really good. 2 Puppet Plant for heroes and samurai. I get to take control of their hero, or not their hero, their warrior, and this is really good because I can either synchro with the stolen monster or tribute it for Caius. 1 Effect Veiler for... Sorry guys, my memory card just filled up on my camera. So as I was saying, 1 Effect Veiler for extra effect negation. DD Crow for decks that rely on the graveyard. 2 Noblemen for decks that sit a lot like Gravekeepers and Plants. 2 Chain Disappearance, also for decks that run a lot of low attack monsters like Plants and Frogs and stuff like that, and Samurai, and it absolutely wrecks those decks. This card is really good and it should be run on every side deck in my opinion in this format. 2 Dust Tornadoes. I'm torn between the Dust Tornadoes and Malevolent Catastrophes. Malevolent Catastrophe pretty much wipes out the entire back row. It's a heavy storm, but can only be activated during the battle phase, while Dust Tornado can be chained. So if they activate, if they're running Dragoonies and they activate Dragon Ravine and they discard a card, I can chain Dust Tornado and make them go neg1. Or if they're running Necro Valley and Gravekeepers, they activate Necro Valley, I don't want them to raw tribute me, so I'll just use Dust Tornado immediately. Also, if they're running Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, I might, for some reason, want to get rid of him immediately with Dust Tornado instead of having to wait until the battle phase. So, Dust Tornado is really good for that reason, but Malevolent Catastrophe, as I said before, is like a heavy storm. So it helps against other decks that have large back row, like Gravekeepers and, Glider Beasts. So I can't really decide, but I'll probably decide later. Mind Crush. This card is really good. It's amazing right now because every deck, pretty much every deck in the entire format that's tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 1.5 searches from their deck. So Mind Crush is really good for that. So that's my zombie deck. I hope you liked it. I think it's really underrated right now and you should definitely consider it. I love it when I beat people and they get all pissed off because they're like, oh no, I lost to a scrub zombie deck, and they think that they're shit because they lost to this deck, but they don't realize that this deck is actually really good. So it's not, maybe it is their fault, but this deck is good. You should definitely give it a try. So I'll see you guys later.